It's Wellness Nerd Out time! How you guys doing today? Happy Wellness Nerd Out time, you guys. And today, we're going to be talking about another very relevant principle to all of life that is approached strategically and is evident in chess. And that principle is central control, central focus, and pliability that comes along with it, right? Or maneuverability, we could say. So we were just with you a few minutes ago. We got cut out. So for those of you who are seeing this again, sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Here we are. So what we were saying is, first let's start by saying a few areas of life or a few ways in life that central control or strengthening the center or doing things, from the center is relevant, right? Well, one we said is footwork, right? For those of you who are athletes out there. And when we have our footwork coach, right, what's the first thing they say to us? They tell you, keep your feet under your hips. You don't want them out here because what's going to happen? You can't change directions as quickly, right? You got to come back and then step another way, and it's just wasted motion. It's too much, right? You keep them in tight space, you can go this way, that way, that way, that way, that way, that way, right? So you watch any good professional athlete that has fantastic footwork, and you will see that principle, I guarantee you, okay? Pretty much across all sports, at least that you're doing footwork in. Another example we used is the core, strengthening our core. And we love Core Day here at When Wellness. It's our favorite day, of course, right? And we've always said that. If you haven't done any core workouts, go try a few. They're very difficult, but very fun, I promise, and quick. So if you have a strong core, what could it help with? Right? It could help with all your other workouts. It's not just about getting a six-pack. It's about it helping with everything. All right? When you're squatting, deadlifting, push-ups, pull-ups, even doing arms sometimes, a standing curl, right? Something you can tighten it, And then you talk about sports. A strong core goes such a long way, right? Helps with breaking tackles, with juking, everything, right? So strong core, of course, well, there's a reason they call it the core. Makes sense to focus on it, people, right? Another example we could talk about is understanding something, and I have a great example again after this, right? But, so stay tuned for it. Another great example is understanding something fully for what it is and from the center of knowledge in that area where you can go there and back to all these different branches coming off of it in 100 different ways, right? You don't get too caught up in one idea. It takes you further from the big picture. Now you got to come back to get to everything else, right? If you understand from here, you can go there, back, right? So, a central understanding is another example how, focusing on the center of something and right, having good core values is another one, right? Morally, you can apply them to every situation in life. That bodes well in general for things that are approached strategically and, ethically, even, really not strategically, right? So just being a good person, trying to do the right thing all the time, doing our best at least, all right? Now, another great example of something with central control is none other than bada bing, bada boom, the central nervous system, the central nervous system. For my chiro friends out there, and for people who are not chiropractors or don't know anything about it, you do know that your central nervous system that's your brain and spinal cord, controls everything in your body. Everything. Branches out, motor movements, sensory, the oven's hot, the stove's hot, take my finger off. Everything, right? And we could do a million examples. But, doesn't it make sense to keep that in its optimal condition? If it controls everything, keep it in its absolutely most optimal condition. Maintain its natural alignment so that your vertebra right, are interfering as little as possible on your spinal cord and your spinal nerves, right, so that they can function optimally and your body can do what it was meant to do at its absolute best every day. It's another great example, all right? So when we talk about chess, right, and that's the least important part of this, but it is very evident in chess, this principle, all right? And here we have the example of a position where we have equal material. We have equal material. There's a queen here for black, there's a queen here for white. There's a knight for white, there's a knight for black. There's a bishop for black, bishop for white here on d4, right? So, you know, and both kings are not well protected by any means, really, right? This one, you know, for white, it has its minor pieces and its queen, you know, helping to protect it, right? But what's the concept here? Look at this. Take these off. You see these squares? These central 4 squares, d4, d5, e4, e5. If you don't control at least 3 of them, generally, you can't put together any lethal attack on the opponent's king. If you don't control at least 3 or 4 of these squares. Why is that? Why is that? Well, from the center, again, we can go anywhere, right? So if you had a queen in the center, it can go boom, 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 boom. And why is that important? Why is that so important? That is so important because you don't know where it's going to be the best in the future. We talked about how variable chess is in life is the same, right? And it's the same of a guy that, you know, I don't know, he goes on Jeopardy, but he has a very full general understanding of how systems work and the relevant ones, at least for that episode or whatever, right? And so any question that comes at him, he's a good shot of knowing it. You didn't memorize, you don't study for your physics test by memorizing one equation, one problem that was in the practice test. You'd have to get that, you need to thoroughly understand the core principles, right? And so this is what we mean by pliability, analogous to that footwork being able to go anywhere. Again, the central understanding, things like that. And again, chess is no different. So when we see this position, yeah, we have equal material. What kind of pressure does black have on the center here? All right. Well, this queen is pressuring one central square. It's hitting one, but only one. What about this knight? Well, night on the rim is dim, as they say, right? We said that the other day. I think we did. Because look, you cut off half of its potential. So 1, that's a bad thing. 2, it can hit here, here, and here. Are any of those, these 4 center squares? Right? What about this bishop? Yeah, it's on a long diagonal. Can it hit any, it can go back here too, right? Can it hit any central squares? Nope. So black is affecting one central square. All right? What about white? The queen is affecting all 4 central squares. This knight is in the center. Look at the potential of this knight. Boom, boom. King's here, so you can't go on top of it, but it is affecting that square. Boom, boom. 8. It affects 8 squares in its optimal potential area, right? And again, the important thing is just knowing that when it's in the center, generally bodes well, right? This bishop, and we can move this queen to better illustrate this, and even the king. Look at all these squares. It is just controlling this board, right? It's about. I mean, not with the queen there and stuff like that, right? But, you know, compared to the other one, it sure is. Our king isn't there. He's over here. So, say it's white to move, or even black to move. I mean, they don't have many good moves, right? But, you know, it's, and we'll quickly illustrate, you know, go through a line, say, right? Say black comes up here, something like that. At the very least, it's check, protected by the knight, and when he moves, picking off the bishop. Now you're up pieces, right? You're up a bishop, and white is winning from that point. You do something like check. He comes over here. Same thing. And you could probably mate him before even going for this bishop if you really wanted to. We could. But the point is, he moves, you take that, right? He comes up here, you have check again, you know? I mean, it's just a disaster for black because white fully gained control of the center of the board, right? So when we open in chess, fun fact, we like to develop our pieces so that they pressure the center early on. That's why it's popular to move the two central pawns, the D and E pawns, all right? To put your knights on, F3 and C3 so they attack the center. They hit two central squares each. So it's more than chess. It's life, you guys. It's the principle, and I hope there's a way that you can apply that to your life to improve it in some way, all right? I'm sure there is for all of us. So thank you very much. That was a fun discussion. I absolutely love talking about this stuff. It's just a great time. And again, sorry for you guys when we lost our battery. Our battery went dead before, and we lost you. So we got back on, and we got another good one in, and we never miss a day here at Wend Wellness. So thank you very much. Have a fantastic rest of your night. And we'll see you tomorrow, baby. Happy Wend Wellness, you guys. Thank you.